All right, everybody, let's get into this one. So this is the third and the final method that I'm going to teach you on how to solve these systems of equations. Just to recap real quick, we had graphing to solve. Then we just saw substitution method to solve. Now, this is my personal favorite. That's why I save it for last. This is the elimination method. So learning objective today, I can solve systems of equations by elimination. And it's kind of exactly like how it sounds. We are going to be eliminating in this method. Here are the steps. Step one, place both equations in standard form, where we have the x and the y together on the same side. Remember, standard form for what we were graphing, we had that ax plus by is equal to c, where a, b, and c are just any integers. Now that we have x and y together on the same side, determine which variable to eliminate, which variable to cancel out with either addition or subtraction. Step number three, solve for the variable that's left. Then it's very similar to the steps in substitution. You're going to use that variable, plug it back in, find the other one. Then your last step, check your solutions. So it's very similar to the substitution method, but the first and the second and that third step happens a lot faster than substitution, which is why I like this method a lot more than substitution. And to be honest, I like this more than graphing because sometimes you don't always get a clean graph, right? So here's elimination. Let's get into some examples. Example number one, we have 5x plus 3y is equal to 11. We have 5x equals 2y plus 1. Step number one, we need to get these equations in standard form. Well, the first one's already there because notice we've got the x and the y together on one side of that equal sign. We're already there. The second one is not, though. We only have x on one side, y on the other. So we need to get that 2y to the other side by doing the same thing we've been doing with these equations, by moving it with the inverse operation. So it's positive 2y here. I move it to the other side by doing the opposite, by subtracting. So now I have 5x plus 3y equals 1. 5x minus 2y equals 1. From here, we go to step two and determine, either adding or subtracting, which variable we are going to eliminate, which variable we are going to cancel out, get rid of. Now, something that's very crucial to know about this method, we have to start recognizing variable and coefficients, Because if I'm adding or subtracting, then they need to be exactly the same to get rid of them. Notice this one, your coefficients for the x's are 5s, coefficients for the y's are 3 and 2. The x's are the same, so it's the x's that we're going to pick on. Now you got to think, how do I get rid of them? Do I add them together? Well, 5 plus 5 makes 10. That doesn't get rid of them. So it must be subtracting. Let's subtract these to get rid of them. Now notice what happens when I'm subtracting this equation from this entire equation. It's the same thing as distributing that -1. So negative 5x, negative 2y becomes positive 2y, negative of -1 becomes -1. So now I have my equations rewritten, and I have the negative distributed because we have to subtract. Now I can just combine top to bottom. So I have 5x minus 5x, which goes away, which is exactly what we wanted. It goes away. It's canceled. Then I have 3y plus 2y. Then I have 11 plus -1. So 3y plus 2y is 5y. 11 minus 1 makes 10. Look how much easier it is to solve this equation. You're only left with 5y equals 10. That's multiplying, so get rid of multiply by dividing. Divide both sides by that 5. Y equals 2. So it might look a little tricky to get it set up, guys. But I'm telling you, once we get a good handle on step 1 and 2, look how easy that step 3 is. You eliminate, you're left with one variable. It has a coefficient. You divide it out. There's your value. for that variable. So now we have y equals 2. Excuse me. So we're done with step 3. Let's go to step 4 and plug in that 2 for one of these equations. I'm plugging into the top one. Remember, it doesn't matter which one, but as long as you're plugging it in and doing the steps right. So I'm plugging into the top one. I have 3 times y, which is now 3 times 2. 3 times 2 makes 6. 5x plus 6 equals 11. Okay, let's get rid of that plus 6 by subtracting it. 11 minus 6 makes 5. Let's get rid of that times 5 by dividing it. 5 divided by 5 makes 1. There's my solutions. I've got x equals 1, y equals 2. X equals 1, y equals 2. So now let's plug it in and check and make sure that these are the solutions. If I plug in my 1 for x and 2 for y, in that first equation I get 5 times 1, 3 times 2, 5 times 1 is 5, 3 times 2 is 6, 5 plus 6 makes 11. Okay, 11 equals 11, done deal. Let's check the second one. 5 times x, 5 times 1, 2 times y, 2 times 2. Okay, 5 times 1 makes 5, 2 times 2 makes 4, 4 plus 1, 5, 5 equals 5. That's also true. Since we have it true for both, we're good for this problem here. Our solution really is 1, 2. Going through those 5 steps, where step 4 and 5 are the exact same as substitution. It's just step 1, 2, and 3 different because we're canceling out one of those variables. Let's see another one. Here's example number 2. We have x plus y equals 10. We have 5x minus y equals 2. Step number 1, put them in standard form. Well, they're already there because I got my x and y together in the top equation. I got my x and y together in the bottom equation. It's done deal. It's already there. Now we can just look at our coefficients and determine which ones we want to eliminate, which ones cancel out. I have a 1 here for the x. It's invisible, but it's that 1. I have an invisible 1 here for the y. I have a 5 here for the x. Okay, clearly those are different. I have a negative 1 here for the y. Oh, positive 1, negative 1. If I combine those, they cancel out. So this is exactly what I want. We're going to get rid of those y values. But the nice thing about this one, we don't have to distribute a negative. We're not subtracting this time because they are opposite signs. We have a positive and a negative. Those cancel out. They're opposite of each other. So now all I have to do is add these together, going from the top down. So I have 1x plus 5x. I have 1y minus y. And I have 10 plus 2. So 1x plus 5x makes 6x. The y's cancel. 10 plus 2 makes 12. 6x we get rid of by dividing by 6. 12 divided by 6 makes 2. I'm telling you, if it's set up so we could eliminate, guys, it's the quickest, it's the nicest method. We've got one of the variables. We got x equals 2. Let's use it and plug it back into our equations to find the other one. I'm going to plug it into the top. I have x is 2, so there's my 2. So instead of x plus y, I have 2 plus y is equal to 10. Well, 2 plus what makes 10? I can subtract the 2. 10 minus 2 makes 8. There's my solution. X was 2, y was 8. So we have our solution 2, 8. Just like before, let's plug it in. And let's find out if this was true or not. So plugging in my solution, 2, 8. I plug in the 2 for the x, the 8 for the y. 2 plus 8 is 10. That's true. That checks off. For my other one, I have 5 times x, so 5 times 2. My y is 8 still, so I have 5 times 2, which is 10. 10 minus 8 equals 2. 2 equals 2. That checks off. That's good to go. So we have our solution, and we checked it. We know for sure that this thing works. You've seen 2 examples now of this substitution stuff. What I want you to do, take a good minute. We're going to have this paused here on Edpuzzle, but this is your turn. Try this one here. You have 2x minus y equals 6. You have x plus y equals 3. Think about those steps. Go to your notes. Think about those steps. Step 1, put them in standard form. X and y together on the same side. Step 2, determine which variable to get rid of. Step 3, eliminate them and solve that equation. Step 4, plug that in to find the other variable. And then step 5, check your solution. Okay, hopefully you came up with something here. And hopefully that something was our correct answer. 3, 0. If not, don't sweat it too much. We're going to have a lot of time in class to practice with this stuff here and get a lot better with elimination. If so, congratulations. Good work. You're already crushing it. That's nice. That's it for today. We'll see you guys later on.